I remember the day I first met my imaginary friend, Mr. Giggles. I was 5 years old, playing alone in my room, surrounded by toys and stuffed animals. That's when I heard it, a soft, high-pitched giggle, like the tinkling of bells. I looked around, but there was no one there. "Hello?" I called out tentatively. The giggling continued, growing louder and more distinct. "Hi there, I'm Mr. Giggles," a playful voice replied. I turned towards the source of the voice and saw him, a small, whimsical figure with a round, smiling face and bright, mischievous eyes. Mr. Giggles was dressed in colorful clothes that seemed to shimmer and change colors. He beckoned me with a wave of his tiny hand. From that moment on, Mr. Giggles became my constant companion. We played games, told stories, and shared secrets together. My parents thought he was just my imaginary friend, a product of an active childhood imagination. But Mr. Giggles was so much more than that. As the days passed, strange things began to happen around the house. Objects would go missing, only to reappear in unusual places. Whispers echoed through empty rooms, and shadows danced in corners when no one was looking. I told Mr. Giggles about these occurrences, and he would just chuckle and say, "Oh, don't worry about that, my friend. It's all in good fun." But one night, things took a sinister turn. I woke up to the sound of giggling coming from the foot of my bed. Rubbing my eyes, I saw Mr. Giggles standing there, his eyes glinting in the moonlight. "Want to play a game?" he asked, his voice sweet yet strangely unsettling. I nodded hesitantly, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and dread. Mr. Giggles grinned, revealing rows of tiny, sharp teeth. "Let's play hide and seek. You hide and I'll find you." With that, he vanished into the darkness, leaving me trembling under my covers. I counted to 10, then scrambled out of bed, seeking refuge in my closet. As I squeezed into the cramped space, I held my breath, listening for any sign of Mr. Giggles. Minutes stretched into eternity. Just when I thought I was safe, I heard it, the soft patter of footsteps outside the closet door, accompanied by that familiar giggle. "Found you!" Mr. Giggles exclaimed gleefully as he flung open the door. I screamed, but my parents didn't come. The room was filled with an eerie silence as Mr. Giggles stared at me with unblinking eyes. "Time for another game," he whispered, his voice now cold and menacing. I shook my head, tears streaming down my face. "No more games, Mr. Giggles. Please, just leave me alone." But Mr. Giggles only laughed, his laughter echoing through the room like a haunting melody. That night felt like an eternity of torment, trapped in a nightmarish game with my once beloved imaginary friend turned malevolent presence. When morning finally came, Mr. Giggles was nowhere to be seen. Years have passed since that terrifying night, but I still bear the scars of my childhood encounter. My parents dismiss it as an overactive imagination, but I know the truth. Mr. Giggles was never imaginary. He was something else, something dark and sinister that latched onto my innocence. Now, as an adult, I often find myself glancing over my shoulder, half expecting to see those bright, menacing eyes staring back at me. I've learned to bury the memories, but deep down, I know that some childhood friends are best left forgotten.